In this show, we're going to talk about so about a week or so ago, I posted a new video to the website, and it was one of those training videos. If you've been following me for a little while, you know I started several months ago to take videos that I didn't make, but I thought might be good training information for us to take a look at, maybe teach us a thing or two. Well, I found this one on a British website called RSA. Now, RSA is very much like TED here in America. So what this speaker is doing, what's most notable about his presentation, is he's doing what my grandmother would have said, hemming and hawing. Essentially, every third word seemed to be ah, ah. There was no silence, there was no spacing. We all do it and it's okay, but when it becomes chronic, it becomes a distraction. And it actually can come to the point of being an annoyance. And you begin to lose the attention of the audience, and that's not why you're there. A lot of people would write this off to stage fright, fear of speaking, insecurity, and I don't think we can write everything off to fear of speaking. Okay, let's take a look at two suggestions I'm going to make that might help you overcome this issue if it's something you're facing and you're speaking. So the first thing I want to talk about is preparation. And this we've covered before, but I want to mention it again, because if you're doing something new, if you've rewritten your presentation, if you're not really sure about where you're going, if you don't have a clear roadmap in your mind, you're going to stumble. And that's a perfect time to because you're taking hesitating moments. You're not sure what's coming next. Now, there are ways around this, and that's what we're going to look at right now. If it's complex, if it's new, I want more than just the bulleted points that we talked about when we were talking about using notes. Rather than use 3x5 cards in a presentation like this, I'm probably going to want to use regular 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. Why? Because I'm going to leave it on the lectern. And this way I have more space to put more notes. I'm going to put my main bulleted note points, and I'm going to put my subpoints indented to the right of the main point, just like I would an outline. I do this because it gives me more information so that I don't really lose track. If I think that I've spoken enough about something and I'm not sure where to go, I can glance down, or if I'm walking around, I can walk past the back of the lectern, glance down at my notes and say, oh, right, that's what I wanted to do next. That's subpoint. And it flows better. So the point here is spend more time properly and thoroughly preparing your notes. Notes are a good thing to use. Just make sure that they're adequate to handle the information in the presentation you're making today. Okay, just one addition to that. Now you've done all this wonderful preparation. You're thoroughly prepared on paper. Now just rehearse thoroughly. Make sure you go over it more than once or twice. If you've added new material, if it's a new presentation, you may not be as familiar with it as you think you are. So rehearse, rehearse, rehearse. Give it an extra hour or two if that's what it takes. You'll be happy when you get in front of your audience. Not every speaker is comfortable with silence. No words. Not everybody can handle that. And so consequently, they feel they have to be emitting sounds all the time. And I think for some people, that's where the ums and the ahs come from. But what I want to tell you right now is practice shutting up. I know it's a weird thing to say to speakers, and I thank you for watching this, and I don't want you running away because I told you to shut up. I don't really mean shut up in a negative way. I mean shut up in a positive way. Get used to having silent moments in your presentation. First of all, practice it at home, in the office, wherever you go to practice, in the garage. I don't know where you go. Practice stopping periodically. And a good thing to do is, as you work with your presentation, pick out initially maybe 1 or 2 spots, color code them, like I've mentioned before, a star, a circle, whatever you have to do, and that's your indication that you're going to stop and you're going to look out over the audience. You're going to look this way or that way, but you're going to stop talking. When you look out over the audience, you're going to feel initially that you're probably taking 5 days of not saying anything. But let me give you an example. So I'm talking and I look down and I look back at you and I begin to talk again. Now, how long did that take? According to my stopwatch, that took just about 5 seconds. You're going to think it's a much longer period of time, and that's why people begin to feel a little uncomfortable because they're not saying anything, when in reality, it's not much time at all. It's a couple of seconds. Going back to the beginning of the podcast, talking about ums and ahs, and is fear of speaking the cause. Easy to point to the fear of speaking as the cause of everything that we face, and every feeling of trepidation when we're in front of a group of people, but it isn't always fear of speaking. In this particular case, improvement in handling our material, evidenced by a little more time spent rehearsing, a little better preparation of our notes to guide us, so if we have complex information, we get through it smoothly. The other thing is an improvement of personal technique, handling silence and relaxing with it, and actually feeling, hey, I didn't have to talk all the time, and I still made my point pretty well, maybe. Okay, thanks for watching. Happy speaking. Work on your preparation. Get used to shutting up, and I'll see you next time.